works, huh?
Our next speaker, it gives me a great honor to introduce him. Can you hear me okay? Everybody ready? Ready? As I was saying, my next speaker, I am so proud and honored to introduce him. I met him some years ago in a Bible study, and he mentioned that he wasn't so sure about going to a third world country on a mission trip. And I just found out he's going to Peru with Dr. Trin. So give him a big round of applause. Stan Wada is an experienced master instructor with a proven track record in the health and wellness and fitness industry. His background includes expertise in sales, management, nutrition, exercise, physiology, and fitness coaching. Stan holds a Bachelor's of Science in Kinesiology and Exercise Science from San Diego State University and is currently pursuing a master's degree in gerontology at California State University, Long Beach, with an expected graduation date in spring 2027. Stan's passion lies in promoting healthy aging through functional fitness programs tailored specifically for older adults. With a strong foundation in evidence-based practices and a commitment to lifelong learning, he strives to empower individuals to maintain independence, improve quality of life, and achieve their wellness goals at every stage of life. Welcome, Stan.
Yes. I'm sure my father is really appreciative. No, he doesn't pay my tuition anymore. I'm actually taking care of it. So I'm a new believer. I've recently been baptized at Refuge in Huntington Beach, so her church, and Dr. Trin's church. So since we are at a church, I think we should start with the opening prayer. So here we go. Heavenly Father, thank you for today. Thank you for the breath in our lungs. Thank you for the strength in our bodies. And we thank you for the clarity in our minds. As we talk about brain health and movement today, we hope to see that we look at our health as stewardship, not out of fear, but out of gratitude. And you'll help us, remind us that it's never too late to strengthen what you've given us. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, so I think the program said it was writing and aging. I think some spell check got in there and messed it up. So it's about rewiring your brain for aging. So it really comes down to exercise and brain health. Go ahead, next page. So the why is the biggest factor, right? So the number one fear now for older adults in the United States, based on recent surveys, is the fear of dementia. Okay, it is now ahead of cancer and heart disease. And the number one reason why is it's not because we're afraid of dying. I mean, we know God's going to take care of us at the end, right? We're going to enter his kingdom. So that's not the worry. The worry is we're going to lose our independence and we're going to forget who we are. So that fear has driven me because it's personal. And the why does matter because it is personal. So I've seen my grandmother suffer dementia, and she succumbed to it after 3 or 4 years. But there's a ripple effect. It affects the family, affects your caregivers, who I now call care partners instead of caregivers, because it is a relational thing, and you want to hold these people with dignity instead of just cast aside, which is what society has been doing for a long time. As far as like the brain, and we know it's a disease, dementia, there is no cure. And there are certain types of treatments and therapies, but the number one thing that keeps coming up is exercise. Okay? So that's the reason why I'm here. And even though I've been doing a lot of studies, I've been on the prevention side for the longest time, and it's been hard because exercise is free. Anybody can do it, yet we all kind of wait until a pill comes out. So As you know, if you don't know, I've been Dr. Trin's personal trainer for 17 years. So in this situation, the reason why I'm here is because it's not what I know, it's because of who I know. Okay? Something my parents forgot to tell me a long time ago. So, yeah. So go ahead and go to the next one. So there's a science to dementia, right? And it's a brain disease that kills off the cells. So when it hits the prefrontal cortex, it affects your balance, okay? It affects your balance. It also affects your decision making. So like the limbic systems, we start making bad decisions when that starts to go. And then your hippocampus, which is also another part of the brain toward the middle, deals with your memory. And another part of the brain is called the amygdala, which regulates fear. So what happens with movement is that it's not just, it's not just, dementia is not just memory. It also affects your movement. And when the movement goes, it's like the cliche, if you don't use it, you lose it. So what ends up happening is you lose your balance. Then you become afraid. You move less. And it just becomes, a downhill slide from there. And the best thing to do, if you go to the next page, is if you see the balance improvement over time, is strength exercise. So even if you did 150 minutes of exercise, of moderate activity, right, including strength training, twice a week, we can reduce the risk of dementia by 20 to 30%. So that is huge. And so that's what I've been doing for the past 30 years as a trainer. I started off with performance with the younger generation, like the athletes. And I noticed that as people got older, especially like Dr. Trin, he's still able to perform at a high level. And, he's in his 50s. Yeah, he can still. How many pull-ups did you do the other day? Like 12? Over 12. He does over 12 pull-ups. And he does over 20 push-ups. And even though he forgets, certain things, he's still in great shape. And he was here in my life for a purpose, so that's why I'm here. But as far as going over physical activity and risk, it's just one of those things that we as people need to start looking at, because it's the best form of prevention, and we kind of ignore it. So, we go ahead and next one. Okay, so as it says, the brain responds quickly. So that's what they call neuroplasticity. The brain's flexible. So the only thing that we're missing is kind of a stimuli, and exercise is a physical stimuli. So that's something that, if you guys we're glued to our phones, we're glued to the couch, we're watching Netflix and Amazon and all these other great shows, even K-dramas and whatever else you guys are into. So just get off the couch. We just need to move around more and, enjoy the sunlight and, nature, everything that God has already provided for us. So I implore that we, not just get yourself involved, but get your family and your other loved ones involved as well. And, if you go to the next page. Movements can be joyful. It doesn't have to be, this rigorous strength training where you hire a trainer. There's other things that you can do with your family. You can go on walks. You can just go gardening. That's something that my father did. And, my father who, he lost his mom to dementia, and both his sisters are afflicted by it currently. And I'm Japanese, and in the Japanese culture, there's like a stigma. So when we went to Japan, did not visit his sisters. He's afraid that if he sees it, he doesn't want to deal with it. So he kind of, I go, don't you want to see your sister? And he goes, no. So I was kind of shocked, and I was like, okay. And then just recently, he started training with me twice a week. And just in the last 6 to 7 months, his posture's improved. His energy has improved. He's gotten a lot stronger. He's actually added some weight because he was kind of getting to the frail point. And my father's 83 years old, and he's going to turn 84 in a couple months. So, he had access to my skill set for 30 years, and it wasn't only till recently that he took advantage of it. So it's never too late. So I'm just going to push that to all of you guys. So I don't know how old you guys are now, but just get started. Go to the next page. So some examples that we can all do to help with brain activity and movement is pickleball. I know pickleball is huge. Anybody play pickleball in here? Wow. How competitive are you guys? Yeah. Did you hear about the assault charges the other day, about the fighting that went place, the couple? Yeah. That's how crazy pickleball means. So we got pickleball. You got dancing. Anybody do boots on the ground? The new big wave? No boots on the ground? Well, she does line dancing. Boots on the ground or just line dancing? Ballroom? Okay. So we got dancing, Tai Chi. You know, you have gardening and walking groups. Strategy games. I don't know if you guys are just doing it on the apps, but any type of game actually helps. I don't recommend Twister. So there we go. Learning other types of skills can be helpful. But, you know, you just want your brain and your body to work together. Okay? And also, something that I stress with my clients is, and just most people in general, is moving in different directions. The one thing we forget to do as we get older is we forget how to play. So if you have grandchildren or nephews or nieces, you should start playing with them. And the thing that I notice people having a hard time doing is moving backwards, moving sideways, moving diagonally, rotating, not rotating. Most people are stiff and could only go one direction, which is forward. So that's something that, you know, as we get older, we forget to do. So have fun with it. And if you are daring, you can play Twister. Go ahead and change. So the other thing that I noticed in my studies with gerontology is the brain is a social organ, and social connectivity is huge, and that is something you could do with exercise. So I did teach a class recently at the Salvation Army for the Red Shield program, and we had about 18 to 20 participants twice a week. And the one thing that I noticed is that the ladies were having fun just interacting with themselves and, of course, my music and the exercises that I was going over. So the social connectivity is really huge. And if you notice, anybody watch the Blue Zone special on Netflix, the Chasing 100? So it's not a mythical thing where you have to go to Japan or Sicily or some weird island in Turkey or something like that. We actually have, go ahead and hit the next. We actually have an example in Southern California, Loma Linda. Their life expectancy is huge, and a lot of that has to do with social connectivity, reducing isolation, right? And they have all these different programs, so that is a great example of, like a Blue Zone area. And I know they're faith-based as well, because I know Loma Linda is Seventh-day Adventists. So that's that. I'm kind of speeding through this because I'm really good with question and answer instead of just presenting. I'm not a very good, speaker, so letting you know. Go ahead and go to the next one. So there is a ramification to all this. So this is the doom and gloom part of my presentation. There is a financial reality to all this. So the one thing I noticed is I started visiting certain, memory care units. They're expensive. They're expensive. So you want to talk about financial responsibility and retirement planning and leaving something for your loved ones? Start working out. Get stronger. Protect your brain, because this will wipe out any type of your pension or any kind of retirement you set aside. If you see here on the statistics, just regular care is anywhere from $6,000 to $8,000 a month. But if you want, memory care, it's at least $10,000, if not more. It's skyrocketing. And they said the projections by 2050, it's going to be over $20,000 per month. So that's where we're heading. And the other thing is you got to remember Medicare, whichever plan, A, B through H, does not cover long-term care. So that's the bad part of my presentation. So we'll just skip to the next. Okay. So just move, connect, be grateful that, we're all on this planet today and we're having a good time. You know, I love this place because I always call it the Orange County bubble. Seems like everything just kind of deflects off of us, and we're all happy-go-lucky. So I appreciate that, and I thank God every day. Go ahead, next one. So the takeaway is just, you know, move consistently, challenge your brain, have fun with your family, make the social connections, and really take time to monitor your health. When's the last time you've all had a physical? Recently? I hope recently, within a year. You should. Make sure you get that physical done. Find out where, you know, where all your biometrics are, you know, where they stand, your health status, and then get the best information that you can from your doctors. And if you need to seek out help, seek out help. It's going to be very beneficial for you and your family. And it's never too late, okay? So that's pretty much it. If you have any questions about, like, training itself, I would love for you guys to ask me right now. Any questions? Yeah, it's simple movements. I mean, so the great thing about exercise now, and you can find anything online. There are so many videos on YouTube. So if you find a reputable source, they will instruct you on how to do exercises. The things that I caution you are the Instagram trainers, okay? Those things, they're not scams, but they're always trying, there's a catch. And they're always trying to get you to sign up for something, and it's always some crazy exercise. So I really keep it simple. Yes. Correct. So, yes. So I'm not an Instagram trainer. You will not find a digital footprint of me. You might find my name somewhere, but I believe in the old school ways with the new information that keeps me updated on how the human body can withstand certain rigors of exercise. But human physiology hasn't really changed too much in the last 100 years. The only thing that's changed is our life expectancy has gone up, you know, because of better food, less accidents, and obviously the pharmaceutical companies that we, you know, keep in business. So that we have that. Anybody else have any other questions? Yes. So I get that a lot. So it always comes down to nutrition. There's no such thing as what they call spot reduction. So you could do 1 million crunches, and it's still not going to get rid of this. So recently I just lost 10 pounds in about a month, and that's through food. A lot of weight control is through food. So calorie in versus calorie out. There are certain types of formulas. Those fad diets, they're just what they are. They're fad diets. They work temporarily, but they do not work long term. So the only thing I would stress is hydration. I would try to shoot for 80 to 100 ounces daily and try to increase your protein, especially women. Try to get it to 100 grams. I know it sounds crazy, but try to get it to 100 grams. If you do exercise and you're one of those endurance athletes that like to run for a long periods of time, which I hate doing, you need to get your protein to about 120 grams daily. So there you go. Okay, so that is when you hire a registered dietitian and they will help you. Yes. Go ahead. Tai Chi. So that's one of the new crazes you're going to see on Instagram, just like the new military training that they're having. So I'm not an expert on Tai Chi walking, but from what I've seen that other people have shown me is that they're doing Tai Chi movements while they're walking. Pretty much that's what it is. And as far as dilution, that's kind of like, you know, that's like saying if you have too many supplements in your system, a lot of it you're going to pee out. So, yeah. Yes. Okay, that's a good question. So the muscle works off of tension. So strength training doesn't necessarily mean you grab a dumbbell and you start throwing it around. You can do isometrics, and isometrics are when you're putting pressure, like this is what I'm doing right now is what we call isometric. You just need resistance. Your body weight is considered resistance. So even if I actually just did a squat or get in and out of a chair multiple times, that is actually resistance training. So what I would suggest is anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes would be highly beneficial. But for those of you guys getting started out, I would probably do a series of 8 to 10 exercises, one set, maybe 12 to 15 repetitions each, and then see how your body responds to that. And make sure you're able to, if you have any musculoskeletal issues, and you suffer from like arthritis or something else, just check in with your physician and see what you can and can't do. But as far as you should be able to overcome arthritis, because it's one of those things that we're all destined to get it. Chasing the blue zones, chasing 100, the blue zones. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I've actually been a part of a creatine study myself when I was a student at San Diego State. I took it for strength training, and it does work. Creatine does work for strength training. There hasn't been enough longitudinal studies on creatine for the brain health, but the early findings is that it does help. The problem is there's different kinds of creatine, and since the supplement industry is not regulated by the FDA, you're going to have issues with, is this good creatine or bad creatine? Because there's creatine monohydrate and creatine phosphate. Creatine monohydrate is what most people are recommended to take. The problem with creatine monohydrate is because it draws water in, you have to drink water with that. Okay, so if you're not drinking enough water, probably not a good idea to take creatine. So depending on which brand you get, it tells you to put it in, mix it in with juice or water. I do it the gross way. I used to do it the gross way. I just scoop it and just drink it. I don't recommend that, but yes, there are different forms. So some of the creatine, the one that I use is just a mix, and it's got berry flavor, and I just mix it in my water and I just drink it. Anything else? Questions? Yes. Not on camera, though. Plus, I'm not dressed for it. Wait, if I train you, I'll do it on camera. Okay. All right, here we go, Dr. Trin. So I will demo. Okay, so we could do some core exercises. So right now I'm just going to have you on the edge of the seat. Go ahead and just here. Just pick up. In fact, if you guys are all going to join, I'll just do them with you.
Come on, guys.
So we'll just start. This is a core exercise. Good posture. Align your spine. You can use a chair if you like. And for right now, we'll just go up. You can have your feet touch the ground. Okay? And you just engage your core. Pull your belly button to your spine and just raise both feet. Now, We can go to hot lava, where your feet don't touch the ground, and you're just going to suspend yourself. Now you should really feel the lower abdominal muscles pulling on your hips. Okay? And the whole trick is trying to bring your hips to your rib cage. Hips to your rib cage, not your knees to your... A lot of people think it's knees to your chest. That's one. Now, if this is difficult for you, you can just start with one leg. Okay? Starting with one leg. And then graduate to two legs. Okay? And then if you want to get a little technical, you can go leg extended, and then that gets a lot harder. All right, that's core exercise. Another thing you do, you can incorporate your inner thigh and your legs, or your core, are scissors. Nice and controlled. And you should feel that. You're going to feel your hip flexors and your abdominal muscles. You guys got that? Yeah, I can see the faces for those who are participating. Cool. Okay, another one I like to do, and this is what I taught at the Salvation Army, was bicycles. And here we go. And you're going to start feeling that as well. So we'll stop because it's going to, I don't want to overload you too much. So that's just core. That's just core. There you go. There's more if you want, but that's just the core exercises. The other thing I was stressing earlier was like hip mobility. So hip mobility is something that's important. So what I used to do is I started the class with just something like this, where we just hold on to the chair, and you're just sweeping your leg back and forth. Okay? Just movement, simple movement, whether it's to the side, whether it's forward and back. Okay? Something really simple. You can also do chair squats, where you can hold on to the chair and just come down, hold it, back up. If you can't, go quarter, halfway, and then full if you can. Okay, and it all depends on your fitness level. Yeah, and a steady chair. Okay, and there's so many different ways you can do it. And this is just using a chair. So I'm just giving you an example of what you can do with no equipment and just your body. Okay, anybody else have any other questions? What was that? Yes. Yeah. The body weight's probably the best form of exercise. You don't really need equipment. Equipment just makes certain things easier and makes me lazy. That's it. I say lazy because I'm a trainer, so I could just go here, grab a weight. So you have to be a little bit more creative with your body weight, but it can be done. Yep. And just make sure if you are looking stuff up on the internet, make sure it's a credible source, right? Like I said, I worry about those Instagram trainers. They're all trying to make a buck. They're always trying to promote something, usually themselves. So, you know, I do have a background in exercise physiology, and I use common sense. And my original focus was adaptive physical education. So I work with people that weren't able-bodied and try to find ways to get them in shape and strengthen them. So I think that's pretty much it.